Good afternoon, everyone. Today I want to talk about something essential: leadership. Not just leadership as we often see it in titles or positions, but leadership rooted in something much deeper and more transformative. A mindset that transcends the finite, that doesn't concern itself with short-term rewards, but seeks something far more meaningful: impact. Now, we all know what happens when we approach leadership from the finite mindset. It's results-oriented, short-term, often self-centered, and inherently limited. We chase quick victories. We strive for metrics that we can count: goals, revenue, growth. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. But here's the thing: this is where we run into trouble. A finite mindset is by nature restrictive. It confines us. It leaves us obsessed with ticking boxes, checking off to-do lists, and getting things done, not necessarily for any greater purpose. The shift from short-term to long-term thinking is one of the most pivotal changes that any leader can make. It is incredibly tempting to measure success by immediate results: the quick win, the instant reward, the completion of tasks that we can see and touch in the here and now. This focus on short-term thinking often drives decisions that are guided by urgency, by an immediate need for validation or a tangible result. But herein lies the trap. The more we focus on what's right in front of us, the more we limit ourselves and the potential for what we can truly achieve. Short-term thinking doesn't build sustainable success. It can drive a cycle of repetition where leaders constantly look for ways to revalidate their own decisions and outcomes rather than build towards something greater. Long-term thinking, in contrast, asks us to step back and think in terms of endurance and growth. It invites us to consider the broader implications of our decisions, not just for today or this week, but for the months and years to come. When a leader shifts from short-term to long-term thinking, they start to see themselves not just as someone managing the present, but as a steward of the future. And they understand that their actions today will shape the course of their organization, their community, and even industries in the long run. It encourages patience, foresight, and resilience, acknowledging that lasting impact takes time to cultivate and develop. One of the greatest benefits of long-term thinking is that it challenges the notion that success is defined by what we accomplish immediately. It frees us from the trap of playing for a quick win. When leaders adopt a long-term mindset, they make decisions not based on immediate gratification, but with an eye on broader progress. They invest in what matters most: building strong, sustainable systems, mentoring people to grow over time, and making strategic choices that align with a bigger vision. End quote. For example, imagine a leader faced with a choice of cutting costs immediately by reducing training programs for employees, or investing in developing a learning culture that pays off years down the line. The short-term answer may look like cutting the program, but the long-term answer recognizes the value in empowering employees with skills that foster both personal growth and business innovation. The latter strategy leads to more capable and confident teams, creating a healthier culture where growth becomes ingrained over time. Instead of limiting success to a quarter's metrics, the focus shifts to consistently improving performance and long-term development. But this doesn't mean that short-term milestones are not important. They absolutely are. It's about seeing them as part of a much larger journey, not as the end game. Celebrating small wins or hitting quarterly goals should be seen as part of a sustained commitment to a grander vision. However, when everything is driven solely by short-term pressure, it risks creating a culture of reactive leadership. Short-term thinking fosters decision-making that can at times overlook vital long-term objectives or alienate talent, diminish morale, and hinder innovation. This shift also requires a deeper understanding of what is valuable. Short-term thinking typically places high importance on tangible, easily measurable outcomes, like how many units sold, or the percentage increase in revenue in the next quarter. While these are critical numbers for any business, they aren't the full picture. Long-term thinking emphasizes the importance of building relationships, nurturing talent, cultivating reputation, and consistently evolving to meet future challenges. It demands that leaders view success not as something to be counted immediately, but as something that will compound over time. Sustainable success doesn't happen overnight. However, moving from a short-term to long-term mindset isn't simple. It requires intentional effort and the patience to weather the storms that come with uncertainty. Leaders who embrace the long-term view have the fortitude to face challenges that don't offer immediate rewards. They make tough calls that may not provide instant results, but that will ensure growth, stability, and flourishing in the future. It's also about shifting the internal culture to reflect this shift in thinking. As leaders begin to prioritize long-term objectives, they begin to guide others in thinking the same way. Teams are empowered to see their work in relation to a larger, more meaningful narrative. The day-to-day is connected to something much greater. Everyone is working not just for today's tasks, but for a shared vision that extends far into the future. When organizations are led with a long-term perspective, the focus broadens from meeting quarterly financial goals to creating the kind of environment where success can continue to build, where problems can be solved creatively, and where people feel inspired and valued in their ongoing development. This can even shift the nature of challenges themselves. Short-term thinking may cause us to fear failure, while long-term thinking recognizes that failure is an inevitable part of progress. It's not a problem to avoid, but a learning opportunity to be embraced and leveraged for long-term success. The beauty of embracing long-term thinking lies in how it doesn't just change a leader's approach to problem solving, but how it influences entire organizations, movements, and even industries. It's a mindset that challenges the old way of thinking, where instant results reign supreme, and instead allows us to lead with intention and purpose that withstands the test of time. In the world of leadership, this shift from short-term to long-term thinking doesn't just unlock success for the present moment, it lays the groundwork for sustainable, transformative, and meaningful success in the future. And when this mindset becomes ingrained, the ripples of its influence have the power to extend well beyond what we may see in our own lifetimes. Leading with a purpose greater than oneself is a concept that deeply resonates with individuals who are looking for something beyond personal success. It is the understanding that true leadership is not about asserting authority or claiming recognition, but about how one can positively impact others and contribute to a broader mission. When leaders embrace this idea, their focus shifts from personal achievement to the well-being and growth of the people they lead. It's no longer about how high they can climb or the accolades they can amass, but about how they can use their position to elevate others, to inspire, and to create a ripple effect of meaningful change. At its core, leading with a purpose greater than yourself means recognizing that leadership isn't a role defined by personal gain, but one that is deeply interconnected with the welfare of those around you. The impact a leader has isn't just about the projects they initiate or the decisions they make, but about the culture and environment they foster. It's about the culture and environment they foster. Leaders with a sense of purpose create a legacy that isn't measured by what they have achieved alone, but by the growth and success they have helped others realize. They ask themselves not just, what can I do today to succeed, but what can I do today to help others thrive, to move towards a greater good? This mindset encourages leaders to rethink their metrics for success. Instead of asking, what will make me look good, leaders start asking, what will help my team get better? Instead of focusing on personal performance, the focus shifts to shared goals, shared successes, and collective growth. Leaders who adopt this mindset lead by example, modeling how to behave with integrity, humility, and purpose in every decision they make. They demonstrate that leadership is not about taking center stage, but about empowering others to take their rightful place on the stage. When leaders focus on a purpose greater than themselves, they stop seeing leadership as a form of control. Instead, they see it as an opportunity to serve. This service is not passive, it is active and engaged. It means nurturing potential, creating an environment that supports innovation, learning, and mutual respect. Leading with a sense of purpose gives leaders the foresight to see beyond their immediate surroundings, to have a vision that stretches beyond the next quarterly report or financial target. Their vision encompasses how their actions today will serve their people, their organizations, and their communities in the future. This approach often challenges leaders to rethink their role within the organization. A leader with a higher sense of purpose doesn't ask, how can I use my power for personal advantage? But how can I use my influence to lift those around me and help them flourish? They understand that their role is to unlock the potential in others. This is not just a duty, but a privilege, a profound responsibility that requires humility and empathy. It takes a leader who is secure enough in their purpose to guide, coach, and mentor their team without fearing that their own importance will diminish. And so, furthermore, when leaders lead with purpose, they help their teams realize the larger impact they can have. Every task, every challenge, and every goal takes on new significance. When people feel that they are part of something bigger than themselves, when they feel that the work they do matters not just in terms of company profits, but in terms of how it improves lives, they bring greater passion and enthusiasm to the job. Leaders with this kind of purpose create not just employees or followers, but advocates, people who feel personally invested in the greater mission, driven by shared goals and vision. They see the work they do as part of a larger story, one that matters in both the present and future. Purpose-driven leadership also fosters resilience in teams. When times get tough and the challenges seem insurmountable, people who are aligned to a deeper sense of purpose will keep going. They draw strength not from what they can get in the moment, but from the understanding that their actions contribute to a broader goal that is meaningful. This mindset empowers teams to persevere through adversity, to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, and to innovate in the face of obstacles. When setbacks arise, purpose-oriented leaders do not see them as failures, but as learning experiences, an essential part of the process of fulfilling a larger mission. Leading with a purpose greater than oneself is about creating a legacy that endures beyond the leader's tenure. It is about shaping an organization, a team, or a movement where the influence of leadership continues to inspire and motivate long after the leader has moved on. A leader's true power lies in their ability to uplift and transform, to elevate others in ways that make them better, and to guide them toward achieving something they might have never thought possible on their own. It is a power rooted in the understanding that leadership is not about serving one's own interests, but about advancing the collective good. Embracing failure as a learning opportunity is an essential component of any leader's journey. In a world that often praises success and views failure as a negative outcome, it can be difficult to shift perspectives. However, those who see failure as part of the process, rather than a stumbling block, open themselves up to the vast potential for growth, discovery, and innovation. The key difference between those who lead with resilience and those who falter when faced with adversity lies in how they perceive and respond to failure. Failure is often thought of as the opposite of success, yet the two are deeply intertwined. The reality is that without failure, there is limited growth. The experiences, lessons, and insights that come from failing are not only foundational to development, but they are crucial to fostering long-term success. A leader who understands the importance of failure isn't afraid to take risks and is more inclined to encourage the same mindset in their teams. They see failure as an opportunity for self-reflection and an invitation to iterate and improve. This mindset transforms the narrative from a negative one into a positive force that drives the learning process forward. For leaders who embrace failure, it's important to recognize that mistakes aren't personal shortcomings. They are natural outcomes of attempting something new or challenging. No one learns how to succeed without encountering some form of failure. In fact, the most successful individuals often have the longest lists of failures. These individuals do not hide their mistakes or shy away from them. Instead, they openly acknowledge them, reflect on what went wrong, and take the necessary steps to adjust their strategies or processes. By reframing failure as a valuable part of the learning cycle, leaders set an example that encourages others to approach challenges in the same way. When leaders embrace failure as part of the growth process, they foster a culture where it is okay to fail as long as there is an understanding of how to move forward. In this environment, innovation thrives. Teams feel free to take risks, explore new ideas, and try unconventional methods without the fear that failure will be met with punishment or judgment. This sense of psychological safety allows individuals to contribute freely and honestly, creating an atmosphere of experimentation and continuous improvement. A leader who promotes this mindset cultivates an environment in which learning is constant and failure is not seen as a setback, but as an opportunity for a new approach. To truly learn from failure, however, leaders must be reflective. It's easy to get caught up in the immediate aftermath of a setback. But taking the time to pause, reflect, and analyze why something didn't work is critical to the learning process. Leaders should not just focus on what went wrong, but also on what went right during the process. Often, even in failure, there are elements of success that should be recognized and built upon. The lesson is in recognizing both the positive and the negative aspects of the experience to determine what adjustments can be made for future efforts. This reflection is what transforms failure into a powerful teaching tool. Adopting this mindset also requires leaders to demonstrate vulnerability. By openly discussing their own failures and what they learned, leaders not only model resilience, but also humanize themselves. When leaders make themselves accessible and willing to share their own failures and subsequent lessons, they show that growth comes from acknowledging weaknesses and that the path to success is rarely linear. This kind of transparency builds trust with teams, showing them that they don't need to be perfect to be valued or respected. It reinforces the idea that growth and development come from persevering through mistakes and continuing to push forward with a more informed perspective. Failure also pushes leaders to develop emotional resilience. The ability to bounce back from adversity is crucial, not just for personal development, but for maintaining stability within teams and organizations. Leaders who dwell on their failures or let them undermine their confidence won't be able to effectively guide their teams in times of difficulty. By shifting the perspective on failure, these leaders develop the inner fortitude needed to take setbacks in stride and lead with renewed strength and wisdom. They don't allow failure to define their worth, but use it as fuel to propel them forward with greater determination. Additionally, failure allows leaders to strengthen their problem-solving and decision-making skills. With each failure, leaders are required to adapt, reassess, and make different choices based on new information. Over time, this sharpens their ability to navigate complex situations and to make better decisions under pressure. In many ways, the greatest lessons are learned through failure, because they require a deeper level of critical thinking and creative problem solving than success often demands. The discomfort of failure forces individuals to confront their assumptions, break down problems, and reimagine solutions that may not have been considered previously. Failure diffuses the lamplight on people who would rather have stayed in the dark. Leaders who embrace failure as a learning opportunity build resilience within themselves and across their teams. They teach those they lead to adapt and overcome, to view every obstacle as an opportunity to grow, and to respond to challenges with creativity and determination. In the end, it is not the absence of failure that defines great leaders, but their ability to turn failure into stepping stones for success. In fostering this perspective, leaders empower their teams to tackle challenges with confidence, knowing that failures are merely temporary setbacks, and the key to lasting success lies in the lessons learned along the way. Creating an environment of collaboration over competition is one of the most important shifts a leader can make to foster long-term success. We live in a world that often rewards competition. Who gets the promotion? Who delivers the best numbers? Who has the most followers? This competitive mindset drives people to focus inwardly, to guard their ideas and resources, and sometimes to withhold information from others. The more you try, the more you will fail. While competition can be healthy in some contexts, the emphasis on individual accomplishment over group progress can create silos, diminish trust, and stifle the growth of individuals and teams. A collaborative environment, on the other hand, unlocks a much greater potential. At its heart, collaboration is the recognition that we are stronger and more capable when we work together. It acknowledges that success is rarely a product of individual effort alone. It requires a deeper belief in shared goals and shared success. When leaders prioritize collaboration, they move away from thinking of others as competitors and instead view them as allies, partners in a collective mission. This shift requires a willingness to share power, give credit, and acknowledge the contributions of others. True leadership in this sense isn't about being at the top of the pyramid. It's about working alongside others, guiding them toward a common purpose, and valuing the collective wisdom that emerges from diverse perspectives. Leaders who foster collaboration create a culture where people feel safe to share ideas, make mistakes, and contribute openly. When collaboration is encouraged, the flow of information becomes more transparent, and people work together to solve problems. They don't feel they must compete against each other for recognition or credit because the greater prize is the success of the team as a whole. This sense of shared purpose and mutual support can lead to creative breakthroughs and innovative solutions that wouldn't have been possible had everyone been working in isolation. A collaborative environment promotes inclusion and diversity of thought. When people from different backgrounds with different perspectives work together, it leads to more comprehensive and well-rounded outcomes. This isn't just about fostering diversity in the literal sense, such as diversity of ethnicity or background, but also diversity of thought. People often have different strengths, skills, and approaches to problem solving, and bringing those elements together allows for more dynamic and resilient solutions. Leaders who embrace this environment actively seek out diverse viewpoints, ensuring that all voices are heard and that everyone has the opportunity to contribute to the solution. Furthermore, by creating a space where collaboration is valued, leaders help to develop a culture of trust. Collaboration requires individuals to rely on one another, to believe that others have their back, and that their ideas will be considered with respect. Trust builds over time as people begin to see the consistency of their colleagues' actions, as they experience the benefits of working together, and as they learn to appreciate the different strengths that others bring to the table. When there's trust in the room, teams are more likely to take risks, to challenge each other's ideas, and to approach problems with fresh eyes. They don't hold back for fear of rejection or judgment, but approach each task with a spirit of cooperation, confident that their input will help drive progress. One of the powerful benefits of collaboration is the way it dissolves competition. This does not mean that people stop aiming for excellence, but rather that their success is not defined solely by individual achievements. When competition is the primary driver, people may only see others as obstacles to their own success, rather than valuable contributors. In a collaborative environment, however, people begin to celebrate the collective win rather than individual ones. Achievements are seen through the lens of the team's overall success, not as one person's triumph, but a reflection of the group's effort and vision. This creates a more supportive, encouraging atmosphere where everyone's input is appreciated and the shared goal becomes the central motivator. Leaders who encourage collaboration over competition are also setting an example for their teams. They model what it means to share credit, acknowledge others' strengths, and focus on a collective sense of purpose. Instead of focusing only on who delivers the best result or who finished first, they reward efforts that contribute to the overall success of the group. When this approach becomes the norm, it strengthens relationships and encourages a higher level of teamwork. People are not just thinking about their role, but are thinking about how their contributions fit into the broader objectives of the team, the department, and the organization as a whole. Moreover, collaboration leads to enhanced problem solving. The variety of perspectives, experiences, and ideas that come from multiple people working together enables more creative solutions. When every team member's insight is valued, it's easier to adapt to changes, solve challenges, and leverage the diverse knowledge and expertise present within the group. Rather than working in parallel or against each other, everyone aligns towards solving a common challenge, using their combined strengths to tackle even the most complex issues. This mindset encourages leaders to think beyond traditional roles or hierarchies. Leaders who adopt collaboration as a guiding principle do not see themselves as the ones with all the answers, but as facilitators who guide their teams toward finding solutions together. They create an environment where all individuals, regardless of title or position, can contribute, challenge ideas, and take ownership of the mission. By emphasizing collaboration over competition, leaders create an ecosystem where trust, respect, and innovation flourish, and where teams are empowered to achieve extraordinary results. This approach shifts the focus from individual accolades to collective achievements, paving the way for long-term success and fulfillment. Nurturing sustainability and legacy in leadership is about establishing something that endures beyond individual tenure. In a world where businesses and leaders often seek immediate gratification and visible success, it can be easy to overlook the value of long-term, lasting impact. Yet the true mark of an exceptional leader is the ability to create conditions where their work, influence, and values continue to guide and inspire well after they're gone. Leaders who prioritize sustainability understand that their decisions today must contribute to a foundation that can be built upon, reimagined, and expanded by future generations. Sustainability in leadership is not just about environmental or financial aspects, it's about creating systems that last. Systems that are flexible, adaptive, and enduring. This means cultivating structures within an organization that can continue to evolve without a total dependency on the original leadership. The greatest leaders are those who build organizations with the vision and foresight to thrive in the future, not merely to survive in the present. This perspective demands a mindset shift, where today's success is measured not just by profit margins or short-term goals, but by how well the organization is positioned for continued success in the future. To create a sustainable organization, leaders must focus on cultivating strong systems, empowering individuals, and fostering a resilient culture. This doesn't happen overnight. Building a legacy requires investment in people, structures, and processes that endure. The right decisions, made for the right reasons, have the power to ripple through time, affecting the trajectory of the organization far beyond the tenure of any individual. By emphasizing the long-term vision over quick wins, a leader instills a mindset within their team that sustainability is just as important, if not more so, than short-term achievement. One of the most essential elements in building sustainability is investing in people. This is where legacy begins. Leaders must recognize that the true strength of any organization lies in its people. By providing opportunities for growth, encouraging ongoing development, and developing leadership pipelines, leaders build a culture where individuals are not only supported, but are constantly evolving in their own professional journeys. The best leaders are those who seek to nurture and elevate the potential of others, equipping them to take on challenges, adapt to future opportunities, and lead themselves. And legacy, however, isn't just about personal relationships or mentorship. It is also about cultivating a legacy of values. In every decision, a leader who seeks to nurture sustainability makes choices that align with their organization's core values. Their actions leave a blueprint that guides future leaders, helping to reinforce a culture that encourages trust, respect, and alignment with a collective purpose. It is through consistent action that a leader models the core values of the organization, reinforcing the importance of maintaining integrity, accountability, and ethical behavior in the long term. These values become part of the DNA of the organization, far beyond any individual's capacity to influence directly, but something that endures. And another significant part of sustainability is embracing adaptability. Leaders who build for sustainability recognize that the future is uncertain and the world constantly changes. Therefore, they need to establish frameworks and systems that are flexible enough to survive in the face of unexpected challenges. Instead of creating rigid structures that can buckle under pressure or crumble in the face of unforeseen circumstances, sustainable leaders invest in building dynamic systems, processes, policies, and cultures that adapt and evolve over time. They recognize that change is inevitable and that preparing for it with foresight and flexibility is key to long-term survival. Furthermore, the sustainability of any organization is linked to the ability to innovate continuously. While legacy might imply preserving the best practices from the past, sustainable leadership requires staying ahead of the curve and being willing to embrace new ideas and technologies. Innovation doesn't stop just because something works well today. The leaders who build lasting organizations create environments where continuous learning, creative exploration, and improvement are expected. When leaders foster innovation, they provide space for their teams to challenge the status quo, look for better ways of doing things, and implement those improvements to maintain the organization's growth. Ultimately, creating a legacy means understanding that leadership is not just about a personal journey or individual accolades. Leaders who prioritize legacy are more interested in the story that will be told after they've moved on, the impact they have had on others, and the positive ripple effect their actions have created. It is about acknowledging that the true measure of leadership is not what one has achieved during their time at the helm, but how they have paved the way for others to lead, to innovate, and to build upon what has already been achieved. The legacy left behind should inspire future leaders to continue the work with the same vision, values, and commitment to long-term success. Building a lasting legacy also requires patience and strategic thinking. It's easy to become consumed by the pressures of day-to-day responsibilities and immediate challenges. Yet a leader who is fixated only on the short term risks neglecting their responsibilities to the future. Balancing the demands of today with a commitment to tomorrow is the delicate art of building sustainability into everything from how people are led to the processes and values that structure the business itself. It's in those moments where daily challenges are tackled with an eye to the horizon that the foundation for legacy and sustainability is truly laid. Developing emotional intelligence within leadership is not simply an abstract concept. It is the practical application of self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills in the day-to-day interactions and decision-making processes of a leader. Emotional intelligence, EQ, enhances a leader's ability to connect with people, understand their emotions, and navigate complex interpersonal dynamics within an organization. Leaders who cultivate high EQ are able to manage their own emotions effectively, relate well to others, and create an environment of trust, communication, and empathy. They do not view leadership as solely a transactional exchange of power or authority. Rather, they view it as a relational engagement that nurtures positive interactions and a harmonious work environment. Self-awareness, which is the foundation of emotional intelligence, allows leaders to understand their strengths, weaknesses, triggers, and emotional tendencies. This level of introspection helps them make more thoughtful and considered decisions rather than reacting impulsively. A leader who is self-aware doesn't make decisions based on transient emotions, but instead approaches situations with a grounded and clear understanding of their values and how their actions affect others. This level of awareness breeds authenticity, as leaders who know themselves can be true to who they are in all their leadership actions. Authentic leadership creates a culture where transparency and honesty are valued, where people feel safe to express their opinions, and where their emotional well-being is considered alongside the company's goals. Being self-aware means recognizing the emotional impact of decisions and how others perceive the actions taken. For example, a leader who understands their own emotional triggers will recognize when they are becoming frustrated or defensive and take steps to manage that emotion before it negatively influences their interactions with the team. This kind of emotional regulation, another critical element of emotional intelligence, enables leaders to stay composed under pressure and guide their teams with a sense of calm assurance. When a leader reacts out of impulse or anger, it can lead to a breakdown in communication and trust, which ultimately impacts team morale and productivity. However, leaders who practice self-regulation are able to keep their emotions in check, communicate effectively, and avoid making decisions based on fleeting feelings. Examples include teachers who forget time capsules. At the same time, a leader's ability to empathize with others is a critical aspect of emotional intelligence. Empathy allows leaders to understand the emotions, perspectives, and needs of those they lead. By genuinely understanding how team members feel and why they act a certain way, leaders can offer the appropriate support and guidance. This sense of empathy not only builds deeper, more meaningful relationships, but also enables leaders to inspire and motivate their teams. When team members feel understood and valued, they are more likely to be engaged, productive, and willing to go the extra mile. Empathy fosters trust and compassion in the workplace, which leads to open communication, collaboration, and mutual respect. One of the key aspects of leadership through emotional intelligence is the ability to influence and inspire through understanding. A leader who is attuned to the emotional climate of their team can anticipate challenges, mitigate conflicts, and rally their people around a shared vision. For example, by noticing when team members are feeling burned out or disconnected, an emotionally intelligent leader can step in to offer encouragement, change the pace of work, or offer new opportunities for growth. Rather than relying on top-down instructions, they tap into the emotional climate of the team to align efforts, celebrate progress, and keep momentum strong. Examples of this can apply include team dynamics, tension resolution, leadership conflict resolution, and momentum strong. In addition, developing emotional intelligence leads to a more resilient and adaptable leadership approach. Life and business are unpredictable, and situations often arise that challenge the leader's ability to manage diverse emotions. Leaders with high EQ understand that setbacks and difficulties are an inevitable part of growth, and importantly, how these situations affect others. When leaders demonstrate emotional resilience, they model how to face adversity with composure and confidence. By doing so, they help their teams view challenges as opportunities for learning rather than as roadblocks that derail progress. They also encourage a sense of unity by fostering an atmosphere where difficult situations do not divide, but rather strengthen the bond between people through collective problem solving. The integration of emotional intelligence into leadership doesn't just positively affect interpersonal dynamics, it drives results. When leaders develop strong, emotionally intelligent teams, productivity and engagement levels increase. People are more likely to invest themselves fully when they feel understood, valued, and supported by their leaders. Rather than focusing on rigid structures or purely objective metrics, emotionally intelligent leaders consider the human factors that influence outcomes. They understand that motivation and performance are linked to emotional connection, and they prioritize the psychological safety of their team. Leaders who invest in developing emotional intelligence build stronger, more resilient teams and organizations. By leading with emotional awareness and intention, they create spaces where people feel safe to be themselves, contribute their best ideas, and connect with others in a meaningful way. This results in teams that are not only more successful, but are also more engaged and more deeply committed to their mission. Leading with emotional intelligence strengthens the bond between people, builds more collaborative environments, and makes it easier for individuals and teams to adapt, innovate, and thrive. Here's the core of it. Leadership is not a title, it's a responsibility to the people, to the community, and ultimately to the future. When we start to lead with the infinite mindset, we're no longer thinking about how to win a game that ends. Instead, we are playing a game that has no end. And in this world, those who lead with this mindset create the possibility for profound, lasting, and truly meaningful change. Change that transcends financial profit, power, or fame, and continues to inspire, influence, and improve lives for years to come. So I ask you today, what kind of leader do you want to be? Do you want to chase short-term victories, or do you want to lead in a way that drives meaningful and enduring success for you, for your team, for your organization, and for the generations to follow? The infinite game is yours to play. All you need to do is begin. Thank you.